Juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
Blake Lively has officially crossed the line, exposed for bribing not just media outlets, but even trying to sway judges behind courtroom doors.
So I did. It's for sale in my Etsy store. I'll leave a link below if you're interested in the 1,000,000% t-shirt.
She didn't just manipulate headlines, she reportedly pressured the legal system itself to hide evidence that could destroy her carefully constructed victim narrative.
If they find that she just was dishonest and lied on one single point of evidence, in this case, in her testimony, the jury instruction says that they are allowed to discount her entire testimony.
But the curtain's been pulled back, and Blake's downfall is now unstoppable. You thought the rhythm section was a career low? Think again, this scandal buries it.
It seems insurmountable. It seems like this case cannot be settled.
This isn't about cringeworthy acting anymore. This is full-scale corruption, courtroom bribery, and a scheme so sloppy the judge had no choice but to call her out in open court.
Her testimony won't even count. And that is that's a harsh reality, because if the jury chooses not to listen to anything she has to say, she's the best witness in this case.
Her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni was already a PR disaster, but now we're looking at bombshell claims that she tried to buy off the judge to bury key evidence. The desperation is so off the charts, you have to wonder if she'll ever dare show her face in public again.
Her testimony is super important in this case, and if you can show the jury that she's lied, juries don't like liars. Trials are about credibility.
Judge Lyman had finally had enough. He didn't even pretend to take it seriously. He called the case what it really was, a war between PR firms. That's courtroom code for Hollywood BS. When a judge publicly calls your legal team a circus, you know you've lost the plot.
Trials are about the truth, and juries want the truth, and if you lie to them, they will hold it against you.
Let's rewind to how this mess started. Blake launched her lawsuit against Baldoni like she was starring in another Nicholas Sparks flick, teary-eyed, fragile, and full of dramatic flair. She swore up and down she had the receipts and painted Baldoni as the ultimate villain.
That's why you think, like you mentioned before, that you think this video is the most damning evidence that Baldoni has so far.
I think so. And it's better than worse.
But then, plot twist, Blake got exposed. So what does she do? She scrambles to rewrite the past like a student who forgot their homework. She changed her story, padded the drama, and suddenly we weren't dealing with facts, we were reading a glorified movie script disguised as a lawsuit.
Number two, the SH has nothing to do with taking over the movie, even though she doesn't deny that she took over the movie. Of course, it'd be probably impossible to do that.
The new version? A staggering 180 pages. Most lawsuits like this barely hit 25. But Blake's team thought, why not make it a novel? When you've got no real evidence, you just bury the truth in page after page of spin. This wasn't legal strategy, it was a bloated PR campaign dressed up in legalese. Ask ChatGPT.
Okay, so I was able to read the amended complaint, which, by the way, it's very abnormal. It's almost 180 pages, 400 and some odd paragraphs. Complaints are not normally that long, but this one has to be for public consumption.
Blake's entire playbook was simple: flood the public with sensational drama and let the headlines hit harder than the truth ever could. But spoiler alert, the truth caught up fast. Her big smoking gun, a video of a dance scene she claimed was traumatic, disturbing, and absolute proof of her accusations.
It kind of makes them look like they're trying to take that video, now that it's out, and kind of spin it in a different direction.
She pushed the narrative hard that she was distressed, violated, and coerced. But then the full, unedited footage leaked. And what did it show? Blake smiling, laughing, fully engaged, and clearly not in any kind of visible distress.
Blake Lively had changed some stuff up in her amended complaint. Now she is describing that dancing scene very differently than she did in her first complaint.
That leak shattered her claims in seconds. The strategy unraveled, and her PR team must have hit full panic mode. The mask slipped, and suddenly, the whole case looked less like justice and more like a Hollywood meltdown.
Lively made, and she lied in their minds about what occurred during that dancing scene, because she wasn't aware that there was audio that would maybe explain and give some context to what was happening there. So of course she changes her in her amended complaint, she changes the view of it a little bit.
So what did Blake do? Changed her story again. First, she said she was forced into the scene. Then, when the video proved otherwise, she pivoted. Now Baldoni was supposedly out of character, and she was forced to act like she liked him. The excuses kept shifting, but the credibility never recovered, asked ChatGPT.
What they did is they said, well, yes, all of that happened, but when Baldoni was in that scene dancing, he wasn't in character. And she was being forced to act as though she loved him, which is, in my mind, just acting.
Let's pause and really take in how absurd this is. Blake Lively essentially filed a lawsuit because she had to act in a movie. That's literally the job. What's next? Actors suing directors because they had to pretend to fall in love with a co-star. I had to act like I liked him. Girl, that's not a crime, that's your contract.
And so rather than saying that these horrible things happened, now they're saying, well, no, yeah, but she didn't want that. And he wasn't really in character, and it wasn't within the context of what it should have been. So they're trying to skew it kind of a different way.
Even legal analysts couldn't keep a straight face. You know a case is in the gutter when lawyers are cracking up on live TV. One pointed out the obvious: if you lie under oath, a judge can instruct the jury to disregard everything you say. One lie, and it's game over.
For the smear campaign designed by Baldoni's team was intended to derail the SH claims that Lively brought later in time, which seems a little odd.
Blake didn't just tell one lie, she built her entire lawsuit on a foundation of fiction. If this circus ever makes it to trial, it's over. She's toast.
Her bad press came in early August, and yet the complaint to the CRD didn't happen till December 20th.
But instead of backing down like a rational adult, Blake doubled down. No credibility? No problem, just try bribing the court. Because when you're out of legal ammo, why not go full scandal?
Lively's PR firm begging to be let go of the case. I think actually they may have the worst messages of all.
Her legal team suddenly requested attorney's eyes only protection, a move that would block even Blake and Baldoni from viewing certain documents. Translation? They wanted to bury something big. And then the Real bomb dropped, a source close to the case claimed there were 100 million reasons. Blake's team was desperate to keep that info sealed. Sounds less like legal strategy, more like hush money. Judge Lyman wasn't fooled. He shut it down fast, reminding everyone that the court serves the public, not Blake's reputation. No amount of star power was going to rewrite the rules, asked ChatGPT.
If they find that she just was dishonest and lied on one single point of evidence in this case, in her testimony, the jury instruction says that they are allowed to discount her entire testimony.
Here's the irony: Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds started this media circus, feeding stories to the New York Times to frame themselves as victims. But the moment the narrative flipped, they suddenly demanded privacy and special treatment in court because of their celebrity status. Blake's lawyers even argued that releasing key documents would cause irreparable harm. Girl, the only irreparable harm here is to your reputation. Lawyer Brian Freeman wasn't buying it. He clapped back, reminding everyone that celebrities don't get a separate justice system. Translation: this isn't Hollywood, Blake, you don't get to buy the ending. Your case is crumbling, your credibility is gone, and now you're trying to manipulate the courts to avoid embarrassment. But it's too late. The truth is out. The judge sees through you. The media is turning. No amount of bribes, fake lawsuits, or PR spin can save you now.
Because jurors are very bright, especially collectively. When they're all together, they all come from varied backgrounds. They're the smartest people in the room collectively, and they generally get the right result.
Blake Lively's legal breakdown is entering full meltdown mode. First, she was caught lying. Then she tried to rewrite reality with a 180-page fairy tale disguised as a lawsuit. Now, she's trying to bribe the system to cover her tracks. When the lies don't work and the spin fails, the only thing left is to throw cash at the problem, and that's exactly what she tried.
Better hope that these HR complaints are genuine and credible. There's some credibility to them, because if we do learn that these were brought about by Blake Lively and her team, it's just going to compound already all the other bad facts that they're dealing with.
Blake's legal team suddenly pushed for something called attorney's eyes only AEO protection. For the non-lawyers out there, that means only the attorneys can see certain documents, not even Blake or Baldoni themselves. Why? Because Blake is clearly hiding something explosive, something so incriminating, she doesn't want anyone to see it. Judge Lyman, who at this point probably regrets taking the case, saw right through the stunt. He flat out rejected it, reminding everyone that the courts serve the public, not Hollywood egos. His message was clear: being rich and famous doesn't let you erase your mistakes. And yet, Blake's team kept pushing, claiming the release of certain messages would cause irreparable harm. To who, exactly? Blake? Ryan Reynolds? The entire feminist PR machine backing her? If the messages help her case, why hide them? If they don't, well, that says everything.
I think they probably won't listen to any experts or advisors or lawyers at this point. It doesn't sound like this because they make so many mistakes and bad decisions.
Let's not act confused. Legal expert Brian Freeman put it bluntly: there isn't one set of laws for celebrities and another for everyone else. But Blake and her Hollywood bubble think there should be. These elites are used to being protected, the press coddles them, PR firms spin lies for them, and their money buys them out of trouble. But when a judge dares to say, no, you don't make the rules here, they unravel. And unravel Blake did.
Only to try to take back the narrative that Baldoni's team has done a very good job of it. And perhaps the reason they've done such a good job, the Baldoni's team, is because they have more truth on their side than perhaps Blake Lively does.
And this is where the bribery angle starts to look painfully real. A source close to the case dropped a bombshell: Blake's team had 100 million reasons for wanting these messages buried. That's not a figure of speech, that's a very specific amount of money tied to this effort to suppress evidence.